is winning in one critical area, perhaps the most important, the economy. He remains ahead by 10 points versus Biden on the economy. Why do you think that is?
You know what? I don't pay a lot of attention to polls, Sarah. They've been wrong before. I think the only poll that's actually relevant is the one on Election Day. We're just moving into the general election cycle. Most Americans have been preoccupied dealing with the effects of this horrendous COVID-19 pandemic, the unemployment rate, worrying about their health, the health of their loved ones, sending their kids back to school, the racial tensions that we've seen so many folks take to the streets in mostly peaceful demonstrations asking for racial justice. And so they've had a lot on their plate this year. I think what you're going to see going forward, though, is that the American people are going to begin to pay attention choosing between Vice President Biden and President Trump. And this week's convention really gives the Biden team an opportunity to bring forth to the American people directly what he wants to do to build back better. It's a mouthful, but it works. And it's not good enough just to take us back to where we were. We've got to figure out how to jumpstart the economy, as he did when he and President Obama took office, and grow it again. And that's a top priority, obviously, for him.
I'm not sure if you saw the Wall Street Journal editorial board today publishing what they had was a pretty critical take on the Obama-Biden economy. Yes, a rebound from the financial crisis, but growth never really got above 2%. Unemployment took a long time to come down. Wages never really picked up. It really wasn't until Trump took over and lowered corporate taxes and a number of other stimulative measures, eased regulations, that we saw growth break out. What's your response to that?
I'm not sure there's a direct correlation there. I think a lot of the building blocks for the economy that we had before the COVID-19 were started under President Obama and Joe Biden. Vice President Biden was responsible for the Recovery Act, investing in innovation, manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, clean energy, making sure that we helped state and local government, and then passing Dodd-Frank, which did establish rules of the road, coupled with many other steps that we took to invest in innovation. I don't think loosening the regulations alone is what's responsible for the growth of the economy. I think it was on a steady increase from the time we turned it around. Cutting the unemployment rate in half is a pretty substantial sign of progress in such a relatively short time, given the deep ditch that we were in when President Obama and Vice President Biden started.
Valerie, how fearful are you that even if certain tax increases are warranted, whether for economic reasons, whether for fairness, whether to pay for the deficit, even if they're warranted, how fearful are you that this balance between who, at least in the voters' eyes, is representing low taxes versus tax increases, the voters will vote with their wallets and in doing so vote for President Trump?
Well, look, if there is a President Biden, which I hope there will be, he is focusing on helping working families. He wants to create the economy that works for everybody, not just a very few. And cutting taxes for the very wealthy, cutting taxes for just corporations isn't what he's interested in doing. He's interested in putting money back into the pockets of working families. That's what's been a priority of his from the beginning. And I think that is what is going to resonate, to your point, with voters. He is making his decisions with them in mind. We have a huge amount of funds that the federal government spends every year. He wants to invest that in companies that are right here in America, use our buying power to support those companies. What are we going to do to treat every worker like an essential worker? We've learned a lot in this pandemic that has laid bare disparities that have existed for a very long time. So as we rebuild the economy, which is a priority of his, how do we make sure that it works for everyone? Those are the questions that he's going to challenge his team to answer. And I think what you're going to be hearing over the course of the rest of this convention, and certainly throughout the general election, is how Vice President Biden and Senator Harris will be working for you, the American people.
Do you think it's a possibility or a strong possibility that Elizabeth Warren could be a strong contender to become the next Treasury Secretary if Biden wins? Is that realistic?
I wouldn't get out ahead of ourselves. I think Vice President Biden and Senator Harris right now are in the midst of focusing on the campaign, earning the confidence and respect of the American people as this team. And I think it's way premature to start to speculate over who will be the Treasury Secretary.
Valerie Jarrett, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.